When you want to actually scale up your operations, the number one rule in business is that never be dependent on only one client. So you have to mitigate that risk. And that is only possible by having diversified portfolio of the clients.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt your video. Now you can directly reach me on WhatsApp and ask any questions. My number is +91 9511 841 495. I'm so glad to have you on this channel. If you're getting some value from this video, can you hit the subscribe button and the bell to keep watching weekly videos?
Hello.
Hi, Ameya.
Hi, Sourav. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. So, what do you guys do? Where do you? You're in Pune. Where do you guys live?
We stay near Viman Nagar.
Viman Nagar. All right. Okay. So, how can I help you now?
Yeah, so like the concept which we are thinking about is an RPO one. Okay, so the questions I had was like, is the current scenarios, like with the pandemic and everything like that.
Right.
So it's a good idea to start an RPO or it's a good idea to start a BPO. So I have around 3+ years of experience in recruitment as international as well as Indian. So I started my career with the international, what we say, the RPO. Then I came to the domestic part. So the recruitment process is almost the same. So it's nothing as a difference or anything like that. So I just wanted to know like what would be feasible enough. That's one.
So
And
for,
second,
so for international, for which countries have you worked for? I mean, for international recruitment, have you done?
it's for completely US. It was completely US.
That's quite good. I will say that, focusing on recruitment because you come from that experience. If you have this experience, that's going to add. That's also, I think, it may be of your interest also. So if it's of your interest, then why not to focus on that? There is a great future. More than BPO industry, I will say that, recruitment, outsourcing, there are a lot of companies in Pune, Ahmedabad. I'm meeting a lot of companies and I'm seeing really great results. I think you should focus on that.
Yeah. So like as I told you, I have a friend, like he's a partner to this firm. So my question was like we should hire anyone like who can pitch our business more, who has clients in hand from US, or my friend only should take a head about the sales part.
Sure. So your friend, has he done any international business development before? Does he have any experience, especially in the US market?
No.
Okay. So in that case, I will say that, yes, he can definitely develop the skills because he's from the business development and sales background. But it all depends how much time do you guys have. If you want to see results in 3 months to 6 months time, then for him to adapt those skills and then develop it will take time. So I will suggest you that if you guys have investment and capital, then why not to hire someone who has that experience. And I always recommend that even if you hire someone, that doesn't take away your responsibility as the company owners to learn the business development skills, because that there is no alternative to it. Even if you hire someone, I always suggest that the business owners must have those skills, because tomorrow if you want to go to US and if you want to meet some of the client, are you going to be dependent on your manager? You cannot. So you have to learn it. There is no option. So your friend is from business development sales background, but I will even say that for you as well, that even you may be the best recruiter, but you also need to be really the best salesman or best business development person for your company to sell it in the market.
Right. So I saw a video a week back. Sure. You said that if you don't have an infrastructure, you are just in a planning phase, which we are currently. So you said that like if you don't have an infrastructure, still you can get clients. Then you can start with the business. So can you just guide me through that, like step by step, like how can I do that? Like I can get the client first, then I'll start up the infrastructure and start the business as soon as possible. So as soon as the lockdown ends. So within this lockdown, we can get a client, or what we can do about that?
See, for getting clients, what is more important is that you guys need to be, there is a complete process, or there is a complete cycle of business development and client acquisition. If you have the infrastructure, if you have the office, then it adds up, because that helps you guys to bring the client or the really selective clients on board, really good ones. But if you don't have it, I will suggest you that you guys can start with your business development process now. I don't know from your daily schedule, because you said you're working somewhere. From your daily schedule, how much time do you get? But since we're in 2020, I always recommend that you should have really strong network on all the professional and social media platforms. Decide one segment. So even in RPO, recruitment process outsourcing also, you must have worked on some particular technologies. For example, if you have done it for software companies or non-software IT, that I don't know. I mean, what have you done it for
Both,
IT? Both. So for
both IT and
right. So now, for example, let's take it as an example. Now, if we consider only IT sector and you want to do RPO, especially for the IT sector in the US, then you have very narrowed down approach and you know exactly where you are heading. So you're doing the RPO, recruitment process outsourcing, then you know, okay, these are the IT companies you are targeting. Then in that also, you know, okay, which are the specific technologies you are targeting. So then that will help, because you don't want something to be very vague and then you will not get the results. Once
okay.
you take it down, once you jot down all those things, then you can actually start finding the companies which are between 10 to 50 employees in a particular area. Like, you know, just decide one state like California, and then list down all the companies who are there, who are between 10 to 15 employees. That database you can get it on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So you just buy that LinkedIn Sales Navigator, you can set the filters and you will see all these options over there.
Okay.
Once you list down, like say like 100 companies, then if you become very particular even about the technology, for example, if you have worked on a particular technology, say Java or any particular technology, then you have quite good hands of experience in that particular domain. So if people ask you some questions, you will have all the rebuttals, you will have all the answers ready, because you have done 3.5 years of work before. So you can relate it to that conversation with, you know, properly contextual conversation you can have with some examples, which companies have you worked on and everything. So that will help you out. So listing down all the companies, then start contacting all the decision makers, and then start having conversations with them.
So, Ameya, I have a LinkedIn profile of mine, like it's a personal one. So it has around like 6,000 or 7,000 connections. So if like we need to connect to these decision makers, like we should make a different LinkedIn account, like a company's name one, or the personal would work. So how is it? Like,
No, in fact, it has to be personal. It is not required to have company profile. You must have your own, because you as a person itself, you know, you carry a brand. You yourself is a brand. So when you have big people are more interested and they get more associated when, you know, the way how you look, what you do, what are your likings, what are your interests, what is your past experience. So I will suggest you, it's good that you have 6,000 LinkedIn connections. But again, the most important is that they should be all relevant one, and they should be contextual ones. For example, just sending ad requests to everyone or just accepting all requests. I mean, for example, if you take my case, I never accept any connection request that is sent to me immediately until I go and see his profile and I see that yes, we have some common connections, or we see that okay, there is something that I myself can add some value to this person, or there is some conversation that can happen. Otherwise, there's no point in just having connections from diversified industries, and they are just a part of connection with no conversation at all. So that should not happen. So
okay.
now let's say that, you know, you're focusing on IT sector. Let's see in the US. So the 6,000 connections, I will say, forget about even 6,000, even 2,000 connections should be all mid management, senior management, and CXOs. In the US, target one particular state. I'm saying that to not the entire US. Target the particular state. Like for example, let's take California, and this entire 1 month, start making the connections with all people of IT companies and their management, senior management, and then you should start sending the connection request. It cannot happen immediately. They will not accept until you have a really good profile, LinkedIn profile. So make sure that you have a very strong LinkedIn profile. Start making content. For example, 3.5 years you have worked for the recruitment process outsourcing. If you have worked for 3.5 years, what if I'm in your position? What I will do is I will make at least 10 to 15 videos, short videos, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and I will start posting it on my LinkedIn profile. I will start posting a lot of content over there, which is all about recruitment and how it helps. Because imagine that if you're on a call with client in California, and if they start asking you question, why should we consider, what are the benefits, how it will help me to bring my price down, how it will help me to do so and so. These are the questions, those are all your topics of your content, and then start making a lot of content. Number one. Number two, when these people of your 100 people's wish list, when they're from California and when they are posting a lot of things, I'm sure they are also posting about their companies, they're posting about so many things about new openings, new clients, some conferences, new trade shows, they're posting a lot of content. You have to make sure that every single day minimum 50 conversation you should be a part of it. That is the minimum meaningful conversations. You need to make sure that go literally check and then simply reply to them that okay, this is, I really like it, whatnot, whatever your inputs are, and make sure that you comment every single comments. That's really important.
Okay. Yeah. So
one catch in LinkedIn I will just give you before I forget, that might be really helpful for you. LinkedIn, what happens is that when we send connections and when another person comes into our connection, LinkedIn connection, it's by default LinkedIn settings are that he becomes our connection and we start following him. So at the moment, if you go and check your LinkedIn account, you must be following all 6,000 people, and then in your timeline it becomes so confusing that people randomly, you see a lot of posts over there. So I never do that. What I do is, okay, these are the 100 people that I really want to make sure that in this entire month, I want to make sure that any comment that they post, I'm going to reply to them. So I only follow 100, and rest all people, I don't follow them. I do randomly go and check their profiles, but I don't follow this. So it doesn't come in my timeline.
Okay.
So the moment they see, the moment people from your wish list of your companies, the moment they post something, you know what they have posted, and you don't see any other post. So only those 100 people, whatever they post, you immediately see it on priority and then start replying to them. So that's one method. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so as you said, I need to target people with 10 to 50. That means you're looking for people, like you're looking for clients who are just a startup. For the recruitment purpose you're talking about, right?
Yes, I do think so, because I don't think on the supplier side, you guys, when you have not set up your infrastructure or when the company is not set up, I think it's going to be difficult to get mid-size and large-size companies. So I will suggest you to build your company's portfolio by having at least 5 or 10 small clients, and then you will have a lot of conversations to make. You will have some references. Your credibility in the market will go up, and then you can actually give some references. These are our clients in so and so Bay Area, and then you can pitch into the mid-size companies.
Okay, so when I told you, like, we don't have an infrastructure or anything like that. So once we get the client, what is the time frame they would be giving us? It totally depends on the client, or they have a standard set time, like you have to start working or you have to deliver like from this particular time. So there's any set time frame for that?
For every client it's going to differ. Every client, it depends on how much urgency they have, but obviously if they have too much urgency, then there are higher expectations or higher chances of getting more revenue because they're in really high urgency. But if they're giving you more time frame, then that's going to be beneficial for you, because you can have that much time frame to make sure that you can get the resources in Pune. There are a lot of places which are plug-and-play offices are available, so you can easily get it. So at the moment, I will suggest you that it depends on your investment, but even for plug-and-play offices also you can easily get it, even for you and your partner to sit. So you will have some kind of conference room, anything, just to attend your meetings, anything. So once the lockdown is open, you guys can, depending on your time that what you guys have, so you can start getting it. And then clients time is going to be completely different. I mean, it depends on clients' requirement, how urgent they have, urgency they have.
Okay, so we recently saw a place in Dhanuri. It's in Pune itself, so near Vishantwadi. So it's a like capacity of sitting around 10 people. Like 10 people can sit, including us. So 10 people can sit. Would that be enough, or
it should be sufficient? No, it should be sufficient in the beginning. Yeah, I never recommend spending any unnecessary extra dollar or extra rupee on infrastructure and business operations side. But I rather suggest that if you have additional budget, then I suggest in the beginning to spend that entire investment what you have on, especially marketing, sales, hiring, business development manager. There you should not compromise. But on this side, you can compromise because the client is not going to come next day and see your office. Let me see your office, how it is, how lavish it is. Getting lavish
Right.
offices in place is not difficult.
Okay, and talking about the price, how can I get to know, like, if there's a startup company like us, there's one more startup company, if we both are competing, like, how can I get to know that we are competing? First that, and second, what price is he quoting, or what is the current market prices going on? Like, particular percentage behind a client candidate is what we used to get. Like when we used to hire, like when we give a client a candidate, when he's hired, we used to get a particular percentage. Like company used to get, and they used to cut down and give it to us. So what would be the current percentage? How we to get to
Excellent.
know that?
Excellent question. So I think that brings back this question refers to the project planning stage. So I always suggest you or anyone who is getting into a new venture, new business, that don't start with anything. Don't start with any even marketing efforts, client acquisition. Don't start with anything until you have a clear project plan ready in your hand. And your question is about competitive analysis. So competitive analysis is out of the 20-25 points. If you want, I can share those points with you.
Okay.
So that includes your SWOT analysis, financial analysis, how the investment will come. Suddenly, if the client comes up and says, "Okay, we want this big project," then how you're going to suddenly manage your money? Do you have any proper plan for it? How your sitting arrangement is going to be? Do you have considered all the power backup, sitting arrangement, proper designed office? Have you considered all those things? There are a lot of things basically. So it's almost 1 or 2 weeks study that you guys have to do. You have to understand your potentials, and then your question to answer it, it becomes again goes back about competitive analysis. There is a proper in-depth study about it. You have to list down your competitors. That okay, if you have to consider from India, there may be 15-20 startup RPOs. You have to go and check the profiles of their owners on LinkedIn. You have to see their activity on digital platforms, their websites, if they have case studies, white papers. So you have to study all that. I will suggest you many things. Sometimes they're super easily available. All these big firms who have done years of research on recruitment process outsourcing, they will give you huge data of how the industry was started, what is the pricing, where did it start. They will give tremendous database. But through this search, which I said, then you will see a lot of analytics, a lot of important reports by the advisory firms like KPMG, Deloitte. These are the biggest firms in the world, so they have done years of research. So many times you will see PwC. These are really good reports. Markets and Markets. So these are some of the companies who have done research, and then a lot of database that they publish it publicly, and then you can actually refer to that database. So from there also you can get competitive analysis, and
Okay.
yeah. So that is one part, and then apart from that, your organic search that you have to do, and then you have to list down the number of competitors, and you have to actually go through their websites, all the correspondence what they have done. From there you can get a lot of information about it. However, I really don't think that there will be a number of companies going behind the small scale market in the US. So I don't think you will have too much competition that you have to worry about. When as your company grows and as you start getting more clients and your portfolio increases, then you will have bigger competition, but not in the beginning stage, not much.
Okay.
Especially about RPO, not about BPO. Yes, on the BPO side, yes, there is a lot of competition, but on RPO side, there will be very little.
Okay. So as we don't have any infrastructure or anything as such, so what to project in front of the clients? Like if clients talk about the infrastructure, or if they say like, can you just tell me what is the headcount you have in your particular company? So what should be the answer, or what should we say about that particular question?
Since you are targeting the small scale companies or startup companies in the US, you both are selling the same boat. So even on their side also, they must be having only 5 or 10 people. They have just recently started the company few years back. So you can just be at front that you can give your introduction that your partner comes from sales background and you yourself have so and so years of recruitment recruitment outsourcing background, gave the information about the Pune, how Pune is, and how easily you can get the resources, and how it can be helpful. So just give all this information, and then inform them about what skill sets you have, what technologies have you worked on, what is your intent. So just be transparent. There is nothing wrong in that.
Okay. And do you have any idea like what would be the project tenure of for an RPO? Like how much for how many years do they give the project to us
I
for
think it
small
has.
scale?
I think it has a good future. I mean, we can consider anywhere between 3 to 5 years. That's the average maturity period, we can say.
Okay, three to
So
5 years, like.
3 to 5 years. So when you want to actually scale up your operations, the number one rule in business is that never be dependent on only one client. So you have to mitigate that risk. And that is only possible by having diversified portfolio of the clients. So you need to make sure that you have 5 clients from IT sector, 5 clients from non-IT sector, and then from different size of the businesses. So even if you get really good client on board, you should never have that dependency, because now we have seen from pandemic, suddenly if something goes wrong with that particular demography or the city or anything or the particular industry, then your business is going to suffer. So you should always mitigate that risk.
Okay. So in this current situation, is it a good time to start an RPO? Like the things are going on in US.
Things will be slowing down for sure. When it comes to recruitment, there will not be immediate hiring that will happen, and things will be slowing down for sure. That's going to happen. But I will say that this is the best time to use for startup businesses to do business development, do the connections, because anything that you do now, it's like a farming. It's not like hunting. I always suggest that. So in hunting, what you do is like you start when you're actually hungry, you start going in the forest and you start hunting for the clients, and then you get one client and you're happy. This is like a farming strategy that I always suggest. Now, anything that you do now is going to show you results after 6 months. I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get the client next month. It's impossible unless you contact some brokers and they give you some projects, but that's also very temporary. I mean, it is never long lasting. So I will suggest this is the best time. In fact, start doing the connections and start talking to people, start adding value to them, and you will see the results in by end of this year.
Okay. Okay. And talking about brokers, like, do we get trustworthy brokers in Pune?
Never. It's not Pune. It's anywhere. Brokers are basically how brokers will make business. I mean, if they just give you a client, it's ready. On my YouTube channel, also people ask me, and I really laugh at that. That Ameya, we are willing to start a business, so they haven't even started yet. They haven't even invested anything, and they asked me that, okay, can you give us a ready client? I said like, well, for client acquisition, there is 6 months, 1 year, 2 years of conversations and networking and talking to a lot of people. So there is a lot of things happening behind. There's a huge investment, a lot of resources we do. And then there is a client who comes up, and then we say, okay, here is a client, and start your business. And those are like 10 phone calls every single day, or WhatsApp messages to me from Philippines, India, Africa, Europe, a lot of countries even they send it. So I suggest, and that is why even from this video also, I'm telling that I'm not a broker. I don't charge anything on the supplier side, only on the demand side. I that's where my revenue stream is. So I don't charge anything at all. And you should also never trust on any brokers, because that's not a right way of doing business. When you can organically, you yourself can generate the leads, why do you want to waste your money behind the brokers?
So LinkedIn is the only tool which we can focus for getting clients, or like, do we have any other tools as well? Like if we exclude LinkedIn.
Again, that's very good question. See, for particularly for this business, I'm saying now, if you're in the commodity market and if you're selling some products to the local area, then there are different tools. Then I will say even tools like even TikTok and Instagram and all, right? Those are also good tools. I mean, it depends on what you're trying to sell in the market. Now, when it comes to this type of services, RPO, BPO, and when there is a strategic decisioning happening, so you need to contact the CXOs and business owners, then usually these people are considering the content quite seriously on 2 platforms, that's LinkedIn and Twitter.
Okay.
So these are 2 ones. Now, apart from that, there are a lot of groups and a lot of communication happening on Facebook, and I see a lot of groups over there. Even if you just enter it in Facebook, also you will see recruitment process outsourcing. But there, you will find everybody, all people who have joined are looking to get something, not give something. So they all are basically looking to have some kind of projects, and that's where the brokers come into a picture and they take the advantage of it. So the serious platforms for this type of communication or content, I will say that Twitter and LinkedIn. Your client will have a different state of interest. So if they are running a company, they are running an IT company and they're working on particular technology, then you have to think from their perspective, their mindset, that if they come on the Twitter platform, probably they would want to search something of their client's interest. So their clients would have something XYZ thing in mind, and then they will be searching that. They're not going to say that, okay, I'm looking for RPO vendor and then let me put RPO India, find some content. It's not going to happen. It takes efforts and it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. But yes, you will see amazing and tremendous results, I guarantee you.
Okay. So now I'm talking about the responses. What like we can get from the clients from US. So what happens, like when we used to call the US candidates or anybody like that. So if we by mistakenly get that MTI, so we get that mother tongue influence in our talking tone, like while talking, if we slip out, suppose, like we get out of that accent of an US. So if they get to know that we are an Indian, they start talking rubbish about us, like, oh, you are an Indian, keep the phone, I don't want to talk to you. So that's what every guy in India who talk to a US person like face on daily basis. Okay, so if I am a startup company and I'm trying to reach out to a person in US, it might be like he would be like talking to me the same way, or might be he would be giving me the business. So that how I can make a first impression in front of him that he would like talk to me in a nicer way. Okay, so
Sure.
that's
Sure. I think it all comes with the transparency that people maintain with prospects and clients, and these type of responses are going to come everywhere. I mean, even if it is a domestic market in India, and there are a lot of phone calls when we receive from the banks and the credit cards and the mobile companies and all that. Many times, people here also they give different responses. But I will say that this can be eliminated. It can be reduced if you maintain some transparency, and you can at front if you'll say that this is so and so. I'm calling you from Mumbai. Is this a good time to talk? Maybe 6 people will say no, but the rest 4 will actually consider it because they like the honesty what you said. So instead of giving some different names, you can directly see that. And if I usually do that, and there is never a problem. I mean, yes, some people they respond weird, but that can happen even in any country or any part of the world. You just cannot avoid it.
Yeah.
But yes.
So I don't have to.
But yes, once again, I will say that when it comes to international business development, yes, it can be avoided. This type of responses usually you will get it only when you are doing cold calling, and when you are selling this type of services where the strategic decisioning is happening, not operational. For example, let me clearly explain. You're not selling a magazine. You're not selling a website. That okay, so $499 website can you have, or would you like to buy antivirus for $199 or some website for $100? If that's what you're selling, then cold calling will work. And then in cold calling, this type of responses are expected. But when you are selling some services which involve sort of strategic decisioning by multiple people, from the CXOs, the vice presidents, the senior managers. So everybody comes together and they decide whether to send this type of work to India or no. When this type of thing happens, it will work on the basis of relationships that you build with them. They will not even give you appointment. If you'll just make 10 phone calls to 10 companies, all those phone calls will go to the reception or to the gatekeepers, and they will say that okay, this guy is available, this guy is not available, whatever. But they will never transfer the phone call. So what I do is, in this type of businesses, I don't do cold calling. So what I do is I first build the relationship on social media platforms. So I make sure that they see me first, they see who Ameya's content on LinkedIn and several platforms. So they have a clear idea, and I build the conversations for a month or 2. So I don't directly get on a call. Once it's properly built, Either they respond that Amay, can we have a call, which becomes super easy, or else then I will, I usually suggest that, okay, can we have a phone call at so and so date.
So
Phone call
means
is
like
not.
if I like call what do you say, a small size company, so it would be not a big issue to me. Like if I they get connected to them through LinkedIn and have a proper bridge with them.
Yes, because these type of decisions, when you are actually when you are getting into a business agreement which you expect to have for 3 to 5 years, and as I explained it exactly, if you're selling some small ticket sales, 100,
Mhm.
200, $300, then yes, you can do just call people, call thousands of people, and then see what works the best. And you will see like 100 or 200 people buying your product. But when you're selling this type of services, and then you only have 100 500 companies in your list, then you don't want to waste them by just doing cold calling, and then you will end up in getting no results. You will be super frustrated that nothing is working, and then that's how usually happens, and then people go and approach the brokers. So I will say that let's not do that. Spend 3 months time, that in 3 months you're not going to have any single client. Let's consider that fact in your mind, and this entire 3 months invest it in building the relationship. So in 3 months you should have a list of 100 people. Okay, I know Ron from Los Angeles, I know David from Las Vegas. So you should have all their names, you should know their company names, you should know the person, you should know their profile, you should have it completely in mind, and then you start requesting, all right, Ron, can we have a meeting now? I think it's been a while we're having this conversation, and we know each other now, can we get on a call? You will see amazing results.
Okay, so like in the first message itself, I should explain them like what is the intention of getting connected to them, like in a proper message that this is like I'm Sourav, I'm from Pune, and I have a company running about an RPO. So this would be this connection I've sent is into context of this. Like, should I explain it in the first go itself, or should I
Awesome.
just start?
Awesome. Yes, that's another question. Really good. So, how you should get on a call? How you should present yourself? I think that's a question.
Yeah. So on LinkedIn, I'm particularly talking about like as a message, like what
Yeah.
should I send him after the connection get connected, like after
Oh,
accepting it.
okay. All right. So that's another question. So if you're on LinkedIn and if you're having conversations, then first thing is that you should be adding value to these people. Never send them anything directly. A cold message. So cold email, cold messages will never work. So never do that, because again, you're not selling small ticket sale here. You're not doing that here. So you can do the introduction. Once you do the connection request, they accept, you accept, then say go through their profile and make sure that people actually care. Very first thing that they care is about themselves. So if I receive a message, for example, now you saw my couple of videos on YouTube, so I understand the context. Where have you seen me, and what we are going to discuss? And here we
Right,
are on call for last 30 minutes. It's
right.
exactly the same thing. If you would have said in a different way that I'm Saurabh, I do this and I want this. Usually people use this messages or use this framework of the communication, and it never works out. So if you will
Okay.
say that I'm Saurabh and I'm from Pune and I'm doing a recruitment process outsourcing RPO, people will not entertain because they have 100 things happening in their world. So people will not entertain. Instead, if you'll go to his LinkedIn profile, if you'll go to his Twitter account and see what he has posted in this week, very recent post, maybe he has just mentioned anything which is out of business context, and he has just mentioned something about the pandemic happening in New York. Why don't you reply directly? Oh, I read that in the newspaper, and we really felt that it should have not happened. How things are they back to normal? Are you guys back in business? Are you guys in back in routine? So that will start your conversations with these people, not directly. I mean, you need to have, I will say that you need to have really good conversations before you actually get into direct business talks. That it doesn't work that way at all. So you need to have, and that is genuinely you should have. It's not for the purpose of just for the namesake, but genuinely you should have. You should actually genuinely care about these are my 150, 200 people, and I'm actually trying to understand what is happening in their life, and then you actually start conversations with them, see what they're doing it, add value to them. For example, once you start having conversations, then start adding value. That means when it comes to RPO, then as I said, that there is no alternative. You have to post a lot of content related to RPO. related to how it will benefit your prospects or clients. And then you need to make sure, hey Dave, last week we had some brief discussion and our things back in New York, so we just had a discussion about pandemic. By the way, I have just written a blog about recruitment process outsourcing, how it helps your IT industry. So if you could just go through that and give me your inputs, I would really appreciate. So how it benefits him is that, okay, he will say, all right, these are 5 benefits for my IT company, and this is what he's talking about, this guy. Plus, you're not saying that, okay, let's sit down for a business meeting. What you're saying is that if you give me some inputs or feedbacks, I will really appreciate it. So your inputs are also important. So that will add some value. So your discussion level goes to the next level.
Okay.
So you need to have proper planning or proper strategy defined for complete 3 months, and within 90 days, if you follow it rigorously with proper discipline, you will start seeing amazing results, I guarantee.
So when should I pitch about the business? Like I should directly pitch or like indirectly? Like I have a business in Pune. I do this, so I thought you would be outsourcing your recruitment process. Should I pitch like that, or I should go directly? Like
Yeah, see, once you build this type of conversations, then I always look for the opportunity, the best opportunity to interact with these people or anyone.
okay,
With these people in the sense anyone, any industry, it could be any clientele from any sector that I have worked with in the past. So what I do is that what is important for this person, that that is one thing. Second thing, I always make sure to use you statements, not I statements. So that means that I am so and so, I do this, I never use that. So I always look
okay,
for, okay, I see you have a company, I see that you have this issues going on, so I'm wondering how you are managing your cost when it comes to recruitment. Are you facing the same challenges about higher cost in the US, and are you trying to cut down the cost on recruitment? So I always consider in their perspective what's important for them. If they consider it, then they will of course say that yes, because people are not interested that where you come from, what part. There are 7 billion people on the earth, so they are more interested in themselves, not ourselves. So if you start
okay,
doing that reverse conversations, what's important for them, they will start interacting with you, and then they will say, oh yes, we are facing a lot of issues, and we don't know because the businesses are going down and there are higher wages on especially on this side, and we have to cut down the cost or maybe lay off our employees. So what you do, they will immediately reciprocate. They will start asking, and that's the opportunity for you to actually use it.
okay,
Then you can introduce, yes, then you can freely introduce, because then you have, first of all, you have given the value, you have started conversations, you have already had so many conversations in the past, and then you can start your introduction, formal introduction, and then you can give the presentation and all.
okay. And second would be like, should I mention the company's name, like whatever the firm name we would be putting up? So do I need to put that in the LinkedIn profile, or like my normal profile would work, or like as an entrepreneur or anything like that? Should I put that name?
Your company name and company details, if they're always helpful. But more likely, when it comes to LinkedIn, I have seen that people do a humongous mistake over here by getting confused with what LinkedIn profile is and what resume is. So LinkedIn profile is not your resume.
Right.
So you should not just write, work with this company for 3.5 years, 3.5 years, work with that company for 4 years. These are my skill sets, and your LinkedIn profile is over. LinkedIn is not meant for that. LinkedIn is basically to showcase, it's the best platform to showcase your skills through verbal, written, or visual communication. So you can post a lot of videos, you can post a lot of content, you can write articles. That's more important than where you have worked in the past, because there are so many companies, large size, mid size, small size companies. There are so many people in that LinkedIn platform. So yes, you can mention your company name and all that, but people are not going to see your company name. That's not where their attention is. They're going to see what additional have you done. So they might see, oh, this guy has written 5 blogs, and maybe it's all about recruitment. So it seems like this guy actually has genuine authority, or he has really great expertise in recruitment. And when it comes to IT recruitment, this guy knows a lot about it, or when he has posted a lot of videos about it, or the articles or blogs. So they're going to see that.
Okay.
So that's super important. I mean, never ignore that. And it takes absolutely no efforts to make these type of videos. I'm telling you, it's just a clip of this video also. I mean, if you just record it and upload it on your LinkedIn platform and just do hashtag with recruitment process outsourcing, see that how many views you actually get it within a couple of days time. Even if you have 6,000 connections, there are a lot of people outside your connection who are using hashtag recruitment process outsourcing RPO, hashtag RPO, or hashtag human resource, or hashtag HR, which LinkedIn has started using it now. So all these people are also following it. So you will start seeing different results altogether. Okay, so this is a conversation what these people are having.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So that's all the questions I had from my end.
Absolutely. Sourav, I think you have because especially when it comes to RPO, recruitment process outsourcing, then this was the very first call I received. All other calls were all related to BPO and especially the call center industry. This is a very exceptional one. So I really like that. And I think there is a great future. So this pandemic time and this couple of months time, especially if you're working with some company, you said, this time just I will say that use it to your advantage. The best device is your mobile phone, so get online on two platforms which are suggested, Twitter and LinkedIn. Start using all hashtags which are relevant not to you, the one relevant to your clients and prospects. So make sure that where your clients and prospects are, and then start getting active there. And do proper project planning. If you need, I will send you the index and all the details, which all 2021 points are important for starting the business.
Yeah,
Do
sure,
that.
sure. That would.
Yeah. So then do your study for another 2 weeks time at least. Sit with your partner and also learn the business development skills as an owner. That's highly important. Don't be dependent only on your managers. And then the rest things are very easy.
Sure, sure, sure.
And let me know. You just have I'm a call away, so we can always have a call.
Yeah, sure, Ram. I'll give you a call if I'm stuck somewhere.
Sure. All right.
Yeah, it was great talking to you, Ameya.
Same here, same here. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, Ameya.
Thank you. Bye bye.